Schadenfreude is defined as finding pleasure in others' misery. And in a recent video, I spoke about the innate human reaction, the subconscious, unthinking reaction that we have, particularly as gamblers or as gambling addicts, to witnessing other people's gambling losses. Whilst we like to think that we would be sympathetic or empathetic when we witness someone who is in a similar situation to ourselves lose their money and experience that sort of run of bad luck that we have ourselves experienced many times, we can't actually help but feel a sense of, dare I say, smug satisfaction that on this occasion it wasn't us experiencing that particularly bad loss. In this video, what I want to do is talk about the opposite emotion, and that is the emotion and emotions attached to witnessing someone else's success, or more specifically, to someone else's wins at gambling. Just quickly, I want to say hi, my name's Phil. Hope you're keeping safe, hope you're keeping sane. And if you're new around here and you like this video, you think it's interesting, then please do hit subscribe, like, leave a comment, all that good YouTubey stuff. It would be much, much appreciated. And again, thanks to all of those who continue to watch the videos and to continue to comment and support me. Thank you very much. So, I actually made a note on my phone yesterday. I was in the pub and someone came in that I didn't recognise, and they played the fruit machine, and very quickly they got a jackpot. Okay. Now I wasn't particularly watching them, but I overheard a little bit of conversation, so naturally, you have a little look round, don't you? And I could see they had £120 something in the bank on the machine. Now, I would love to think that at this stage I would be completely indifferent to this. Dare I say, I'd even feel maybe a little bit of happiness for the person winning, because it's nice to see someone beat the machines, not that you ever can, but I didn't. There was actually a certain unsettling feeling which I've never ever managed to shake off. It's possibly weaker now than it used to be, but this feeling of resentment, dare I say almost a sensation of anger at witnessing someone else's good fortune, someone else's good luck. And the reason I'm making this video, well, there's multiple reasons really, but one of them is to say that if you too feel this sense of anger, or dare I say hatred towards someone when that you witness a rapid or unprecedented bit of good fortune, then you're certainly not alone. The human psyche is something that, whilst people can help control it, it's not something that's completely under our control. And sometimes the reactions that we have to situations aren't the ones that we, given the experiences we have, would like to have. So it really took me back that, even now I feel such a strong sense, or at least have any kind of reaction towards seeing someone else's good fortune. I would have thought, like I say, at this stage, that I would feel, hopefully, a numbness, a nothing, a neutral, disinterest. But certainly, whilst it's faded, it's still very much there. So I want to talk about this from both a gambling perspective and a sort of a human psychology perspective. From a gambling perspective, what we need to do is think this. And this won't have stopped the initial emotion, because we can't stop our immediate reactions. But what it will do is hopefully prevent that emotion from ingraining itself in your brain and possibly ruining the rest of your evening, or putting you in an onward bad mood. The person you've just witnessed win, and it doesn't matter whether this was like the guy in the pub on a fruit machine, or whether it's someone in a bookies, a sports bet, or in a casino, think to yourself, would I have done that? Firstly, would I have played that game on the fruit machine? Would I have put that bet on? If you witness someone get an acca come in, would I have bet on that horse? Would I have put the money on that number on roulette? Now, I would suggest that 90% of the time the answer to that is going to be, well, no, that's not my number. Never played that game before in my life. Don't even support that team. Thought they'd probably lose. So immediately we can go, well, okay, it's not like this person has extracted and stolen our winnings. They haven't taken away from our experience. They haven't stolen our good fortune. They've had completely isolated good fortune of their own, and had we not actually witnessed it, it still would have occurred, but we would have been none the wiser. So why are we getting angry about something that has cost us nothing and has actually made someone else in a similar situation to us, a little bit better off for the moment? That's one way to think. The second way is the human element. This person that came into the pub is obviously a gambler. Okay, the very first thing they did after they got their drink was go and sit on the fruit machine. Now, thankfully, they got a quick result and they managed to walk off. But if this is the routine they're in, then they will do that again, and they will do that again, and they will do that again. If they bought a pint, sat in the pub with their mates for hours, and then just had a casual couple of quid from a bit of loose change they had, then maybe they're not a gambler, but to follow that pattern of behaviour, then they were obviously a gambler. If you're witnessing this happen in a casino or in a bookies or with someone that you know that bets on the football every Saturday, then this too is a gambler. And what will happen is, as we say, gambling winnings, they're not really winnings, it's just a loan from the betting companies until the next time. So there's no reason to be jealous, on a conscious level, because ultimately this money is borrowed from the gambling companies. This money will go back. It will end up back inevitably from whence it came. I can say from experience that I, in my time gambling, had many, many good wins. I never on this channel say, you're always going to lose every time you gamble, because that's simply not true. And actually that does more harm than good, because then the first time you gamble, you win and you realise that, or you assume that everything I've said is absolute bullshit. So no, you can win gambling, and I've had great wins. I've had sort of 4, probably touching on 5-figure winning gambling sessions or gambling days. And I don't have that money now. Dare I say that I didn't have that money a month after I won it. So, what you're basically reacting to, what you're subconsciously getting sort of wound up about, is someone merely getting a short-term, very short-term, in many cases, loan from a gambling company just to help perpetuate their habit and help perpetuate their own addiction. The downside, the way this can be the most problematic is, and this is something I would have done in the past, is try and replicate what you've just witnessed. Now, again, I'll often use examples around like fruit machines or fob teas, because that was my inherent poison. Okay, but it's the same in all situations. You witness someone get a jackpot on a fruit machine game, or win a £500 on a fob tea, and you are inclined to, you're inclined to try and replicate that for yourself. That feeling of jealousy, like when you see someone driving a Lamborghini, you think, Lamborghinis have come up a lot in my videos recently. You might think, I want a Lamborghini for myself. Now, it's virtually impossible, probably for most people, myself included, and most people watching this video, to just go out and buy a Lamborghini. So we're left with that sort of lingering feeling of envy. However, it's not beyond the realms of comprehension that we too can win a £100 jackpot or a £500 jackpot in the bookies. So we may then use what resources we have at our disposal in the pursuit of replicating that result that we are envious of. And this is the worst possible result, because whilst as gamblers we know we have an inherent knack and tendency to chase our losses, in this instance we're chasing someone else's win, which has, chasing one's losses, there's whole gambling systems based on it. The martingale system obviously is one of them. And in terms of sometimes compensated games such as fruit machines, there is at least a grounding in logic, and I'm not suggesting anyone goes out and chases losses, but there is a grounding in logic behind, pursuing or changing stakes or whatever in order to try and cover your previous loss. It's a fucking dangerous game, and I don't recommend it, but there is at least logic to it. Trying to chase someone else's wins is dumb on every level, and it's possibly the worst thing we can do. Obviously, as gamblers, we're not always completely in conscious and logical, common sense mode of control of our actions, and our thought processes. So this is a thought that is still liable to crop up in your head. And actually, dare I say, there was a tiny glimmer, a tiny spark of this in my own head yesterday when I witnessed this win. So what we can do is just try and use everything I've spoken about in this video to rationalise it, to try and make ourselves feel absolutely neutral, or as close to neutral about the situation, about other people's fortune, or, as I spoke about previously, misfortune, so that we don't then cause ourselves further harm in the pursuit of replication. Like I say, you will never be able to control that innate human psychological reaction to things. If you witness someone lose and you feel a tang of schadenfreude or of smugness, of delight in their misfortune, then don't beat yourself up about that. That's something that you have no control over. If you feel a pang of discomfort, jealousy, anger towards someone who's just had a particularly big win, then again, this is an innate human emotion and we don't have immediate control over it. What we can do is rationalise, reason with, and control the ongoing emotion and the lasting impact that this initial flare-up has on us, so that it doesn't lead us into more harmful behaviours, and on a very basic level doesn't ruin the rest of our day by putting us in a really foul mood. Hope that makes sense. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're new around here. Hope you're keeping safe. Hope you're keeping sane. Have a great long weekend. Long live the king and all that sort of thing. And I shall speak to you all soon. Have a good day. All the best.